Welcome, everybody, to another heart-pounding, thrilling, exciting, thunderous edition, and possibly full of bad blood
Oh, man.
episode of Pinfalls. I am, of course, who else but Tommy Ellison with me, as always, for the everyday fan, and from JohnG'sBeat.com, coming to us from Skokie, Illinois, the man on the beat, Mr. John Wroblewski.
Well, despite what we portray and sometimes feel, there really is no bad blood between us. I've known you for 12 plus years or so, and I do consider you a friend. With that
I
being
wouldn't
said,
I wouldn't say bad blood. No, that's there's some we have
animosity.
issues. Yeah, but bad blood we're not quite at the Hell in the Cell level yet. We haven't it's coming, I feel, but we're not there yet. Someday.
Well,
Someday.
either way,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay. So
there might
let's
be
hear this
bad blood after I
let's
read
let's
read
hear
the
the
stats.
stats. I know this isn't going to be good. I know this is not going to be good. I took a real hard fall on that last pay-per-view.
Yeah, so this year I am now up four on you,
Whew. Oof.
which means lifetime. I have regained the lead. I am up one on you lifetime.
Man, man, it's been a rough year, man. I gotta say,
Well, okay,
am
and
not
I'm not trying
performing
to
as
puff
well.
you up because it just means I'm even better. You're 36 and 18. That's a 66% winning percentage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well,
And I'm
pretty
even
good.
better.
Pretty good's not good enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm even better.
hmm Yeah. Well, we got a few months left. This might be cut. We might cut this one close. I might be cutting it close, having to catch up here, but
I got a
we'll
bad feeling
see.
about this one today.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. This one is uh I don't know what I think about this, but we've
Well,
got let's get into it though,
yeah, let's
okay?
say let's
So,
save our overall thoughts till the end because I got some thoughts on this.
yeah, so here we go. We got Bad Blood coming up. Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia,
Uh
Saturday, October 5th, 5 p.m. Central.
let's start off with the WWE Women's Championship. Nia Jax versus Bailey. Uh well, Nia Jax is our current women's champion. Uh, I am not happy about that. I don't know. I don't know many people who are. Um, the problem is that Bailey just came off of having the title for a while. There's really no good reason for her to win it. As much as I would love for Nia to lose it to just about anybody else on the roster, I would take almost anybody. Uh, I don't think that I personally will be that fortunate, and therefore I'm going to say that due to my own bad luck, Nia Jax will be walking out with the title.
Would you even take her over an Eva Marie return? Would you take that over Nia? I'm
Eva
trying to figure out
Marie.
one of the worst wrestlers I see to see if you.
Oh, I'd have Eva Marie in a second. Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
over her. Yeah. Now Eva Marie is, I mean, she's useless.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's, but
So pretty
I
much
mean,
she's the
I
bottom.
mean, now those are two very. I mean, you're really like it's splitting hairs. I mean,
Well, of
they're
course, I'm
very
not going to say Trish Stratus.
right. No, they're very, 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 very close. I mean, that's it's not like I shouldn't act like she blows Nia Jax out of the water, but I mean, Nia's I'm sure probably actually a better wrestler, which isn't saying much, but but I still just I can't stand Nia's. I can't stand her facial expressions. I can't stand her on the microphone. She's just kind of, like a clod in the ring. I mean, it's like I just don't get it. I mean, I get it. I know why she's where she is, but I don't get otherwise,
Well, I
So
agree with you completely. The Nia's going home with the title. There's no reason to give it right back to Bailey. I actually think that I think there might be some growing, or there is some growing animosity between Nia and Tiff.
yeah.
I think Tiff might eventually. I think that's where the money is, not with Bailey versus Nia. So I think this is just kind of a filler.
Tiffany's definitely next in line, and the thing is I would rather see Tiffany win it off of somebody who I consider to be more credible because Tiffany Stratton is a fantastic wrestler. She's fantastic in the ring, and she's really, really coming to her own on the mic too. But just even from a wrestling standpoint, she's really good and she can put on a great match. And so I would like it like if she was going to win the title. I mean, I know she's got the money in the bank, so it's probably not going to be like a match anyway. She's going to cash in on someone. But uh that I mean, which unless that happens at
I
this,
was just gonna say, what if
you know,
Bailey and Nia have a smash match, a smash mouth match, and then Tiff comes in and claims it.
it would be a happy night for me. I'd be a happy guy. So I don't know. But I think that they'll probably build it some more.
Yeah.
It's not quite there yet, but
No, I
yeah, I'm
think
sure.
you want the build up to that one. You don't want her just to come in and cash in. You want the build up and you want her to beat Nia probably soundly. I think you want her to just beat the hell out of Nia.
That would be nice. Yeah, I'd
Then
appreciate it.
Nia goes away for a little while.
Yeah, wink and dream. Okay, let's look at the next one here. We've got let's look at the other women's championship. We've got well, it's not, yeah, it is. It's this one's a fun one sort of. It's harkening back to some old school stuff here. We got the women's world champion Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with good old dirty Dominic Mysterio up in the ring hanging inside of Shark Tank. Or Shark Cage, I'm sorry. I watch Shark Tank too much. Yeah, hanging up inside of Shark Cage. This is an old school thing. They haven't done this in a while, but it is. I'm trying to think of man. I'm trying to think of like when the last one they did was, but I've seen a few in my day,
Yeah, like Jim
and
Cornette, I think, was up in one way back.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they've done a bunch of them, but the idea is that it keeps them out of the way. And and usually it's because that person is aiding and abetting or interfering in some way in these matches. Almost always this person in the cage finds some way to like,
Yeah.
drop a pair of brass knucks down to the person, or, somehow they wiggle their way out of the cage and now they're hanging from it, or, you never know.
Some sort of chicanery.
But this was whoever came up with the idea for this, group. I mean, like this, threesome here. This was a great call. With everything that's been going on between Liv and Rhea, and then throw goofy ass Dom up in that thing. I mean, that's a fun match, right? I mean, like just on paper, that sounds like a fun match. Uh, I think that I feel like Liv is going to keep going with the title. They're going to build this up a little bit more, even still. Uh, this is, I just don't quite feel like she's like Rhea's going to come back and win this just yet. So,
Same thing. It's too soon for Rhea to come back and win. I'm not even sure if Rhea's going to come back and win it from Liv at any point. It could be somebody else. Um, and you're absolutely right. Dom's somehow going to get involved. Now he might get involved and screw things up. Who knows? But I
hmm,
still think Liv is going to end up on top in the end.
nice.
2-2.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and you can't discount the rest of the Judgment Day as well, getting involved
Yeah, of
too.
course.
So, um, so moving along into some similar waters, we've got Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. These two have been at it with each other ever since Finn and basically, they say there's no leaders in the Judgment Day, but Finn is certainly the face of it at this point, I would say. Um, Damien, this I do feel like Damien could get a win on this one. And I don't really know. This is just kind of more of a hunch on this one, but I think that I think part of it's because the Judgment Day has gotten over on Damian a few times now, uh, and especially this last Monday. I kind of have a theory that like if the show before the pay-per-view, like if Damian is getting beat out and beaten down on that one, and they close the show out with that, he's gonna probably come back and get his comeuppance at the pay-per-view because otherwise he's just getting stomped, 2 weeks in a row and one at a pay-per-view. So based on that and little else, I'm gonna go with Damian Priest because it's otherwise on paper it's a very close match, and if any, it should be a really good match if nothing else. But I'm gonna hedge my money on Damian Priest.
Well, this almost came down to a coin toss for me, just because I have no idea which way to go on this. This could go
Yeah,
anyway. It is going to be a great match. It's going to be fun to watch. It should be a great match, at least. Um, I kind of just, it was like 51-49. I ended up going with Damian Priest. I
yeah,
don't even
kind of.
really have a great reason why. I just kind of, it was almost like you. I just kind of went, I just feel he's probably going to pull it out. I don't think this feud is not over. This isn't going to end anything. But
No, yeah, no,
I think
yeah,
Priest is
we're
going to pull
saying,
the win.
yeah, it's the same thing. I just am like, I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if,
I was just going to say it wouldn't shock me at all.
if they went the other way, but if we got to pick one, the gut tells me Damian will win. I don't think that both Damian and Rio will win the same night at this thing. So,
Interesting.
again, I couldn't tell you why. I think they're gonna, put it, I think it allows both storylines to keep going. If she loses
Yeah.
hers and he wins his. All right, so let's move along. We've got Cody Rhodes teaming up with Roman Reigns, something people thought they would never see before, versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu of the Bloodline. So Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns getting together. Reigns is in a spot. He needs to call upon Cody to give him a hand here, trying to reclaim the role of tribal chief. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to have, again, I think we're looking at, most of these are really good matches, but I think that this bloodline storyline needs a win at this event to keep going with the strength that it has at least. It's not strong enough to take a loss right now, I don't think. They need to keep getting wins. And I think it's going to build to a point where Roman he's going to start getting more and more desperate and more anxious about this whole scenario, and then because if he just walks back into the company and then just takes out the bloodline at the first pay-per-view he has a chance at, then what? So this has to continue on. Eventually Rock's going to come back and get involved in this whole thing, and then somewhere in there, that's where the lines are really going to get drawn and they'll really go to war. So I feel like this is just kind of laying the groundwork for what's to come. So going with the bloodline.
See, this could go so many different ways. You got Kevin Owens involved. You got Randy Orton, around the sidelines. You got any number of bloodline members or unknown bloodline members yet
Yeah,
floating
you
around.
never know. They could always pull out another one,
Yeah, exactly.
So
And we interviewed one. It could be anything, any type of scenario. And although this match is probably going to be really good, it's going to be just beating the hell out of each other through the whole thing. I hate this match because Roman Reigns would never. He's going to team up with Cody. Why?
I think it's too soon. I think it's something
Exactly.
I could have seen it happening at some. I actually assumed that this would happen at some point,
Exactly. But
down the
not right
road.
now.
But I didn't think like the second he came back, he'd be like, "Oh, well, I guess I don't have anybody else. I'll go to Cody, who has been his bitter rival for like 4 years now, or whatever,
And
three
why is
years."
Cody? Oh, hey, you're back. Great. We hate each other for a year, but now let's hug it out and I'll be on your side.
Well, I mean, the idea is that, he wants the bloodline gone as bad as Roman does. But the problem with that thinking and that theory, though, is that the bloodline doesn't go away. It's just
Right.
a transfer of power. I mean, those guys might go away, but then if it goes back to Roman, he'll bring back Paul, he'll bring back Jimmy, which is also a possibility at this thing too.
That's true too.
He could always have, at the very least, he's, have, Jimmy come out there, and I'm sure Paul, can get involved in everything and stuff. So I don't know that, you know, Roman will be there by himself, but again, I just don't see this changing over just yet. So
No, I am going to go with the bloodline winning because it sets up so many better things. If Roman and Cody win, what's next? Obviously, the feud
right.
will continue, but it's like, where do we go?
But then, well, what happens to all the guys who are in the current bloodline then? It's
Right.
like, what do you do? It's like, what do you do with Solo is a hard enough question. But
Yeah.
the other guys are even way further down on the ladder, even though Jacob is getting a lot of, he's getting a big push and everything, and people are big behind him and everything. Still, those guys all need to have that bloodline not only intact, but with some force and some
Right.
power behind them. So
Yeah.
it can't weaken them this early on.
And well,
As-
the other thing too is if Cody and Roman lose, Survivor Series is coming up. So now you got so many potentials for various surviving
Survivor
teams.
Series matches, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I would hope I really would love if they just went back to that original format. I love the whatever it's 4-4, 5-5.
It's
Even
usually
though some
five
of the
on
teams are
five.
mongrels, I
Hmm.
still love that. That's the concept.
Yeah, that's what Survivor Series was. It's 5 on 5 matches, and it's like Hogan's got his team and the Iron Sheik's got his team or whatever, and it's usually
Yeah.
the way it goes. I believe they're doing war games this year at Survivor Series, so it kind of sort of fits into the thing. But I hear what you're saying because you're right. That's what Survivor Series was, and they've had Survivor Series events with no Survivor Series matches in them before.
Which is ridiculous.
Like when I mean it's only happened like a couple times I think, but like
It
I
should never
remember just
happen.
but what?
It should never happen.
Well, no, but it should never
Survivor
happen. No,
Series.
yeah, I mean like it's like calling it the Royal Rumble but having no Royal Rumble match,
Right.
It's
Yeah, we're
like,
not gonna have a Rumble this year.
you know. Okay,
So
so
we're 4-4 on a
this
card that I was
it's
really wow.
yeah, well, this is not good for me because I'm not getting any opportunities to get a head up here. Last one we'll be talking about here today is Hell in a Cell, and inside will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I'm ready for this to be over. Um, you know, I'm not the biggest Drew McIntyre fan, and while I like CM Punk, I think that I think he's been about as entertaining with this as he can be. But I think that this thing has run its course. I'm hoping that I mean Hell in a Cell should by all rights be the end of any rivalry. So this should be it. So the question then is, of course, who is going to walk out the victor in this whole thing? I personally think CM Punk has to win this. Um, yeah, I do. I think CM Punk's got to win this because he's come back. Since he's come back, Drew's been the only one he's had a rivalry with. They've gone back and forth. It's been okay. I don't think that Drew needs this as much as CM Punk actually does. Like he's got it. Like if they're gonna do anything with him, he needs to get some momentum going here. And it's like this has been okay. It's been good. They've had some good matches, and I mean I love Punk, but if they're gonna bring him back and do anything with him, they gotta get some fire underneath him, and he needs to get a win. And then after this, he needs to move on and start doing some more CM Punk type things and get out of this storyline. So that's
Well,
what
we're
I
five
think.
and five. I was never a huge fan of Drew McIntyre. Punk needs this. Not only does Punk need it, the WWE needs for Punk to win this to set up other things down the line. if
Yeah.
he loses this, then where do you go with him? You need to set this. He needs to win to set up future feuds to have meaning behind future feuds. He
Right.
loses to Drew. Where do you go with him? Drew could lose and still be fine. He'll just go off and
Right.
be angry and take it out on someone else.
Right.
But Punk doesn't necessarily need the win for himself, I don't think, but I think the WWE needs for him to win it for their future.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
it. We're
there it
5-5, man.
well, there it is. Well, then this does me no good. So I guess we'll know what the score is for next time.
No, the only thing I was going to say is like as much as some of these matches, most of them are going to be good matches. They're kind of like goofy matches at times. It's like almost like filler matches or to set up future pay-per-views. And I hate when a pay-per-view sets up is done
it
intentionally to set
feels
up.
it does no, this feels like a transitional pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Like they're doing this to get us to the next one,
and I don't like
basically.
that.
And yeah, it's just kind of like, you gotta have it doesn't it lacks attraction,
Yes.
it doesn't have the pomp and circumstance that a proper pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, PLE should have. So,
Well, we agree on everything, man.
well, what do you know? I guess there's no bad blood after all.
Well,
Not
we'll
yet.
work on that.
Yeah, it's coming though. It's coming. Well, all right, folks. Do you want to remind everybody where they can find this? It'll be on Peacock.
It'll be on Peacock Saturday at 5 Central, Saturday, October 5th. That's this coming Saturday, emanating from Atlanta, GA. Bad
Why
Street.
is why is it on at 5 Central if it's coming from
I don't know if
Georgia?
this is fact. I heard because there's an MMA event later on that night, and
There
they
is.
conflict with that.
Oh, yeah. Now that they're in bed with each other, I guess that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. A friend of mine's having people over for the MMA that night. Yeah, UFC is got something going on. So, okay. Real quick sidebar. I watched the entire Mr.
Yes.
McMahon Netflix documentary series. And as someone who has pretty much heard most of those stories and knows most of it, I found it extremely compelling and hard to stop watching. It's very good. I highly recommend checking it out, even if you already kind of know the story. It's a good if there's someone out there who you want to kind of give them a crash course in like WWE and where it came from and how it got to where it is now. It's like it's as much as it's about Mr. McMahon, it's about the company too. And they just really do a fantastic job of telling that story. So I highly recommend it.
Okay. Your recommendation duly noted. I have not seen it
No,
yet, but I plan on watching it probably this weekend.
yeah, it's worth it. It is worth it. All right. Well, as always, thank you for tuning into Pinfalls. I, of course, have been who else but Tommy Ellis. And joining me from Skokie, Illinois, for the everyday fan, JohnG'sBeat.com, the man on the beat, Mr. Jonathan Ventura Wroblewski.
Bad blood. Bad blood.
Bad blood.